This project tests the potential of metropolitan housing by forming the edge of an urban courtyard. The building morphology emerged through drawing physical and implicit connections from Farragut's existing contexts. The building edges, streets, and walkways generated art extents while forming this edge. After taking the place of a playground, this space serves to enhance what was lost by providing a new place for the community to gather, stay active, and grow. The tension caused by smaller scale apartments encourages people to spend less time in their units. By leading people toward public lounges or reading areas, they end up viewing the larger physical activity spaces. This entices residents to use those amenities while interacting with neighbors. In deploying the strategy on a larger scale, this building includes specific areas of transparency which lead people to and through the site. By providing access to this housing experiment at different scales, this space motivates inhabitants to interact and potentially bridge gaps between socioeconomic differences. Floor by floor, the iterated configuration of shared unit walls became reminiscent of shared building party walls. This quality gave us the opportunity to read the building as a microcosm of the city, a place where density and proximity pushes us to build agglomerated structures as opposed to standalone objects. In our agglomeration, we chose to connect directly to Farragut Tower as a form of integration into the community. In this small scope of the city, neighbors would meet neighbors, neighbors would need neighbors, and the new construction would facilitate both meetings and needs. But how do we draw in current residents and make them comfortable with the change? From the eyes of a Farragut resident, our proposed library and pathway through the urban edge may seem like an infiltration, but by seeing others experience the spaces, we would build intrigue within the community. From a westward approach, inhabitants see the massive striated form like a glitched mountain growing off the tower's edge. At the point of connection or nexus, they would walk between the suspended library with bricks cascading from the wall plane above to the ground below. This is the urban edge's first veil, and its seemingly falling bricks suspend disbelief. After passing that threshold, inhabitants are led into the urban courtyard. Undulating and elevated portions of landscape create a place of interest for people of all ages. Although a main path is set and defined by a consistently leveled surface, the surrounding green spaces form areas where occupants will stop, look, and turn the corner. Upon turning, inhabitants get a full view of the building's inner edge. Clusters of cantilevered volumes and striated openings induce feelings of the sublime, but reality is never too far away. Between the striking views of cantilevered volumes and veiled openings displaying ghostly silhouettes of interior inhabitants are the Farragut Towers. If the courtyard occupant looks back towards the urban edge's nexus point, they'll get an unobstructed view of its interiority. At that point, they'd see fellow Farragut residents passing through the library and pathway toward unknown destinations, possibly one of the suspended volumes. Now the interior occupant enters the scene. The experience is almost ubiquitous between Farragut and urban edge residents while passing through the semi-public space. The building's almost singly loaded corridor is activated on the first floor. By pushing shops, offices, and units toward the street side edge while making all entrances on the inner edge, people are forced to enter the site's interior for access. They would then reenact the previous scene or continue up and through the building's single corridor. In this single corridor, people move from aperture-cast interiors overlooking double or triple height volumes open to below. Along this path, there are pockets or points of rest where members of the community begin to blend through shared space and activity. Finally, Urban Edge's shared experience ends at an apartment unit's interior. The variation in unit configuration, size, and occupant capacity reinforces the idea that diversified housing typologies build a sense of identity, positively affecting the community at large. In this highlighted plan, we show a double-height unit which has a multi-bedroom layout. Although it receives the same treatment and amenities as other units such as built-in furniture, these units differ as they address the possibility of family growth. The scale of this apartment provides for a flex condition where a 2-bedroom unit can be converted into a 3-bedroom. While we know that no building can solve all problems, we hope to address at least one issue at each scale in the context. At this edge of the urban context, we hope to have addressed the issues of access, activation, and longevity, while bridging the gaps between socioeconomic differences.